Hello,
Okay.
everyone. I'm Kathy Bollinger, Managing Director of York County Community Foundation's Embracing Aging program. We're a charitable organization located in York, PA, and we're passionate about creating a community where all ages thrive. Sometimes negative thoughts and attitudes about aging gets in the way of us having the best experience as we age. And because of that, Embracing Aging has been hosting a series of online sessions where we interview people over the age of 50 to share their thoughts, their ideas, their concerns, their life lessons, their outlooks, anything that they want to share about their aging experience and how they're continuing to find purpose in the community. And today we have a wonderful guest who has not only volunteered over 1,000 hours to helping youth, but he also has a great mantra or saying, motto maybe is the right term. Yes, you can. Now, before I introduce our guest, I want to share with you that Embracing Aging's work is sponsored and supported through a donor who over 110 years ago gifted her estate. She wanted to make certain that our older residents could have the best quality of life possible as we age. Her name was Anna Gardner, and we are honored to carry on her legacy. If you'd like to learn more about Embracing Aging's work, you can visit our website, embracingaging.org. And if you're on Facebook, we encourage you to follow us and like our posts at YCCF Embracing Aging. So we're going to be recording today's session. The first 20 minutes or so will be me asking our guests questions, and then we'll open it up to you to ask our guests questions as well. And of course, you can use the chat box throughout our time together to share reactions, make comments, show your support. So today's guest is Alan Dubbs. And as I mentioned, he has invested over 1,000 hours of his time since retirement volunteering. And he's chosen to do this in the City of York School District here in York, PA. And he really finds joy and it being his mission to work and share his wisdom and his life lessons with students. So Alan, welcome. We're so happy to have you here today.
It's good to be here today. I'm
So
excited to be able to share my experience.
yes, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So you have this motto, yes, you can. What inspired you to adopt that motto and want to work with youth?
Um, I grew up in the York City School District. Okay, I had a rough childhood. I was physically abused, emotionally abused, and all through life, I believed that I couldn't do anything. So I didn't take on the challenges that came my way because I was afraid of failure, because that's what was preached to me as a child. Okay, and as I got older, okay, God kind of like started to change my thinking, and um, and then I kind of like when I was ready to move on, okay, I got hurt at my job. I took an early retirement. I went to my daughter's first um, open house at the beginning of the year. Okay. And when her teacher found out that I was retired, she asked me, Mr. Dobbs, can you come and volunteer in our school? I didn't have any clearances. I didn't have anything like that. This was on a Wednesday, and I started there the following Monday.
Wow.
And when I started there, um, actually on that Wednesday at open house, Scott Hunsinger from RSVP was there, and then it kind of like just all fell into place. He found out that I was going to be that I wanted to volunteer, and then he explained to me that he could help me with all my clearances and such and such. Okay, and so we got the ball rolling. But what was cool about Monday is I didn't have any clearances, so by rights I shouldn't even have been allowed to go into the school. But God opened the door and he allowed me to go in. Okay, I just wasn't able to work with a child privately. I had to work with the children in the school, in a classroom,
Mhm.
like back in the corner away from everything. Um, a lot of kids that go to York City School District come from one parent homes. The percentage that I heard was around 80% come from one parent homes where they basically have no dads. So here I was a dad, I was a grandfather. Um, I was a man. They don't see many men in the K through 8 building process, and I was a father image to them. So as I was giving children the first year, I was more or less about ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. But after getting some experience underneath my belt, I learned that if I related to them and share with them sometimes my experiences as well as they share with theirs, we broke down the wall that was between us. Okay, a wall that's there that's many times between the student and the teacher. Okay, and I help them to believe in themselves. I help them to believe that yes, they can, even though they thought no, they can't. Just like me, when I grew up as a child, no, I couldn't. So I understood where they were coming from. I could relate to them personally. I experienced everything that they're probably going through. Okay, so I was able to share with them and make myself real to them. And once I did that, they were willing to learn, and they excelled.
Wow. That is such meaningful work. And first of all, Alan, thank you so much for sharing parts of your story and also for using your story and your experiences to help connect and reach and inspire youth. And, you know, I mentioned that one of the reasons we do these series is because we're really working to help change negative attitudes about aging. And one of the best strategies to do that is having intergenerational interactions and quality time together. So I'm curious, throughout the 1,000 hours of times with students, what stereotypes do you think are you debunking about youth? And also, have the youth are now thinking differently about working with an older person? What can you tell us some about that experience?
I'm not
What's it
exactly.
like? What's it like working with youth? And
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Um, Sometimes there's a lot of challenges. You know, they have this wall between that they present, this facade that they put there in front of me between me and them. Okay, and they will challenge me. They might even be disobedient to me. They might give me a hard time. But you have to treat them with love and kindness. That's what the kids in New York and in the urban school districts need. They need to be shown love, and that they need to be shown that they're important, that they can do anything that they're being challenged to do. Okay, and but they have to ask. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they can't believe that they can't do it. They have to believe that they can. And I was pretty much an encourager. I encouraged them to believe in themselves. Okay, and I had a lot of success stories through my years of serving. Um, and many times I went there to bless, but I walked away probably more blessed than what the students were.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah. It's like I said, having those quality intergenerational experiences are so impactful. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing with that. So let's talk a little bit about how has volunteering and or doing something different since your retirement years, how has that improved your outlook on growing older?
Okay. Well, eh, I have a lot of older friends.
Hmm.
Okay, and a lot of them sit around and they believe that they're done working and they're kind of bored and they watch TV or they play on their phones or they feel like they don't have any value. Okay, but yes, they do have value. They have all the years that they've lived up to date. They have years of ups and downs, of successes, of failures that they can go share with the younger generation and pass on to them that yes, you can. You might be failing right now, but there's another side of the coin. Okay, there's a heads and there's a tail. There's failure on one side, there's success on the other. Okay, and you just need to ask for help, and you just need to receive the help, and then move on. Okay, so it's just really been encouraging me for me to um, that I, I even was kind of like that. I wasn't sure what I was going to do when I retired. Okay, so when I went to school, and then God kind of like just opened up the door. Mr. Dubs, can you help me? Okay, and yes, But a few years earlier, back earlier in my life, I volunteered at another school for a few hours a week, and I really liked it. And then that kind of like ended at the end of that school year. Okay, and then there were many years passed, and then I retired, and then I've been doing it up for the last 7 years. Of course, COVID stopped from last March until today. So I wish I could be there.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
sure the students wish they could be with you as well and have connection with you. I'm sure that they miss not having you as their mentor and your inspiration into their lives.
Well, another thing I wanted to say was I'll be many times sit there and walk into school. I didn't work in the same class all the time. I switched from one class to another class, wherever the need was. Teachers found out, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Okay, and I was willing to do all those things. And I would pass kids in the hallway that I didn't even know, and they would come up to me and they would give me hugs. Okay, it's like, okay, this is cool. Okay, but usually it was because they were an older sibling or maybe even a younger sibling that I was working with, their older brother or sister. Okay, and they were just sharing their love, and so there is love. Oh, and there's one more other thing. The city schools have this a lot of people have this image about the city schools, whatever city it is. Okay, you can't work in the city schools. You're gonna get beat up. You're gonna get killed. You're gonna get molested. You're gonna get all these different kinds of things. Okay, and I served there for 7 years, and I'm still here talking about it. So, okay, there's police in the New York City School District. There's police officers. There's hall monitors. There's people there to help kids that need help when they're having a behavior problem. Okay, so they're not gonna hurt you. Okay, you're not gonna get hurt. You can feel yourself like you're being safe going into the school environment. Okay, and you can help these kids that are like really in need. And from what I understand, because of COVID, most students are at least a half a year behind in their learning.
Alan, I'm curious. There might be people who are watching this who want to volunteer in this way and give of their time, yet they just can't seem to take that step to do it. Do you have any advice about taking that step and helping them just try it, just do it? And whether it's in, it doesn't necessarily need to be in the City of York School District. It can be in the school district in which they reside.
Any school. Okay,
right?
And I'm not just encouraging senior citizens to help us in schools, although that's where my heart is. Okay, there's all kinds of volunteer organizations out there where they're seeking people who are willing to help. Okay, and the RSVP organization will help set you up where you need to be. Okay, and what you want to do. Okay, and you can do it for a couple hours a week, or you can do it many hours a week. It's whatever you're willing to give back to the community. And I'm telling you, whatever you give will come back to you tenfold. You'll be so blessed to be able to give your life away, because when you give your life away, it comes back. Okay, so I just can't express upon you enough that that's how I was just so blessed. Okay.
So I wanted to share with
yes.
everybody, Alan keeps referencing RSVP. I believe that stands for Retired Senior Volunteer Program.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yes. And Roth is going to put in the chat box Scott Hunzinger, who is the coordinator for the York, Adams, Franklin counties area of RSVP, how to get in touch with him. It's my understanding you can reach out to RSVP about any possible volunteer opportunity.
That's correct.
We can connect you not only, okay, great. So what else, Alan, would you like to share before we open it up to our guests to ask you questions? Is there any specific, without sharing names or breaking confidentialities, or is there a powerful story or experience or anything that you want to share with the group?
Okay. I started my first year working with fourth graders. And then after my first year, I branched out and went down to first and second grade. And then I also worked with EL kids, a lot of EL kids, English kids that were coming into the country who spoke no English. And then I was also working with a special needs class, kids that were a little bit mentally dysfunctional. Okay, and the EL kids and the dysfunctional kids were my favorite classes. Um, I had this one student that came into school. He was in fourth grade, and he came into school from the Dominican Republic. He spoke no English. Now here he was in fourth grade. And of course, most of the kids in fourth grade know how to speak English. So the teacher gave him as my assignment. Okay, I worked with him every day. Okay, from October until the end of the year. And the success story behind all of it, he actually wound up being the top of his class. He spoke English better than anyone else. All his courses, he had higher grades than anyone else. He had a drive to learn. He wanted to learn. He wanted to receive everything that was there for him to receive. He just didn't know how to get it. And then when I developed a relationship with him, if I was sick or something, he cried because I wasn't there to help him. Okay, and I cried because I wasn't able to go help him. Okay, so it was just really, and there were other success stories as well. Kids that have behavioral problems. Okay, a lot of times the teachers will give them to me. Okay, and I would just love them. I would just love them. I would give back to them what I didn't receive when I was their age. The kind of love that I should receive from my father. Okay, I gave to them because I knew that they probably weren't getting it because they didn't have a father either. He was somewhere either in jail or with somebody else or living in another country. Okay, and so I just love them. Love covers a multitude of sins, and we just need to love. The Lord commands us to love the Lord our God and to love thy neighbor as thyself. And who's your neighbor? Well, all those kids in the class. Okay, and we're also called to help orphans. Well, I kind of looked at them as orphans too. Okay, they had no father or mother. Okay, so I was a surrogate father or whatever. Okay, so that was my blessing.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing those examples and stories, and again for continuing to inspire and support and encourage youth. And everyone deserves to feel valued and understood, listened to. Everyone deserves to have love and respect in their lives. And I'm just so thankful for the work that you're doing and with City of York School District youth. Let's open it up to all of our guests and see if anyone has any questions or.
Excuse me, I'm gonna just get a drink.
Yeah, go ahead. We're casual. How about it?
Thank you.
So are there any questions from our guests? Any thoughts, comments you'd like to share aligned with Alan's message?
Well, I mean, I, of course, need to share our complete appreciation for Alan being such a great volunteer, on behalf of RSVP. And I mean, he's, our poster child for volunteering activities. And that's really what we're trying to help do for the seniors that we work with, is to help provide meaningful, positive volunteer opportunities that help not only the volunteer, it's both the volunteer and the clients that they're serving. And
Correct.
So it's really exciting to get to hear, from a volunteer's perspective, how rewarding of an experience it is, because that's of course what we want it to be all about. So I just want to say thank you, Alan, because it's really cool to get to
it was
hear.
My blessing.
It
was my blessing.
And I know that the schools, they're getting there. We're going to get you back in the classroom soon.
Okay.
Becky, thank you.
I just encourage anyone who's willing to share their life, give their life away, even if they can only give 4 hours a week, one day. Okay, get a hold of Scott. Okay, he'll set you up wherever and whatever you want to do. Okay, and the blessings will just come back to you when you are willing to bless others. It comes back to you, and it just gives you so much feeling of accomplishment, and it builds your self-esteem. Okay, you get encouraged, you get loved. Okay, it's just like totally blesses your whole life.
Lopa, do you have a question?
Good morning, and thank you so much for speaking to us as a group. But I personally take this as a blessing for me because of a personal experience. I was in the city school district maybe 2 or 3 years back, before COVID, as a translator. This was a whole bunch of kids that had come in from Bangladesh and that area, and there was a language issue. They were the most challenged kids that one can imagine. And my heart bled, and I wanted to just sit down with them to help them out. You know what was so sad is of course, the principal came to know that I wanted to help. It just dropped there. They said, no, you can't do anything. And that's what is so bothersome to me. It was York School District, etc., etc. So now I know who to connect with. And I want to go back because it's not just a language barrier, it's a huge cultural barrier. And I'm so blessed 45 years ago, this Sunday, to this beautiful country. There's not a happier person in this world more than me. I want to give back what I've received. And these kids, I have to say, what I saw was so scary that I came and told my husband and kids, they will be out in the school because the only English words they learned were the curse words and the language barrier words, like the bad words, nothing else. And they were only busy thinking that they're going to shoot guns. I worried and I went back. I couldn't get anywhere. I said, I'm coming on my own time. I had the clearances. I want to go back to Mr. Hunsinger and say, help me get in and see if I can go in a language and culture and help the kids. Thank you, Mr. Allen. Thank you for showing me the way. Thank you, sir.
Okay. It was my blessing. I would share my faith. Whenever I had an whatever problem I had, I would pray about my day ahead. I would ask God to open the doors. I would ask God to open the doors to the students and the teachers that I had an opportunity to work with. Okay, and just to receive it, and that we would be able to connect, and that there would be a success story at the end of the day, and that usually worked. There was power in prayer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lopa, for sharing. I just noticed that I had given Roth the wrong email for Scott Hunsinger, so I saw that in the chat. He just put in the new one, but Roth, would you mind just saying that so everyone has the right contact for Scott?
Yes, it is York Adams Franklin at RSVP. We just forgot the .org at the end of it. So
Yes.
Thank you. Other thoughts, questions, comments for Alan, or to just share with everybody about this topic?
Excuse me, what does the S stand for in RSVP?
It's Retired and Senior Volunteer Program.
Okay.
And so we're a part of the National Service Agency AmeriCorps, and we are the section AmeriCorps Seniors. And so AmeriCorps is a national volunteer agency, and you can start from age 18 all the way to, I think our oldest volunteer I saw is 99. So,
wow.
It's a great way to get involved. And some of the obstacles, particularly with the schools that Lopa you described, it is helpful. And Scott is amazing with his connections with the districts, because the schools, they know they need help, but sometimes even knowing that you need help is a little bit overwhelming. And it's just because you need help doesn't know that you know how to facilitate getting the volunteers in. So kind of having that pathway is a good way to get connected with the district. So
thank you, Becky. Anything else before we wrap up for today? Well, I want to
need your help. They need your help. Please. Becky, they need your help. We need your help. There's very few volunteers in the New York City School District.
Thank you, Alan. And that's the call to action after this session, to take what you've heard and learned and use it to inspire your purpose, cultivate your purpose. And if that's connecting with youth, consider doing it through a school district or the City of York School District for certain. Now, again, Alan, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your story with us and your insights. A huge thank you to all of you who joined us today. We appreciate your time. We know that there's Zoom fatigue and lots to choose from, and the fact that you chose 30 minutes to spend with us on this topic really means a lot. I'd like to share with everybody that a recording of today's session will be available in the next 2 weeks. And I'd also like to share that our next session is on Thursday, May 6th at 10 o'clock. And the topic is when the afternoon play date turns into kinship care. And it's all about tips and strategies for helping grandparents or older people who are raising grandchildren or younger people in their lives, giving them strategies and tips and thoughts and ideas to help them along the way in that process. So we hope that you join us on May 6th. Again, you can check us out at embracingaging.org to learn more about our events and our work. And I'd like to thank everybody again and wish everybody an Embracing Aging type day. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Lopa. Thanks, Rock. And thanks, of course, thank you, Kathy Bollinger.
You're most welcome, Alan.
Thanks what you do for Alan.
Pardon me?
Thanks what you do.
Oh, thank you for
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Don't give up.